Jessica. Sup, Reiki master, teacher, and intuitive, and today we're gonna have a special healing session. I actually have a special guest, as you can see. I don't don't dig up my bed. Just how long is he gonna do this? I have a special guest, as you can see. This is going to be a lot harder than I had anticipated because I wanted to do a Reiki session on him, and he is not going to make this easy for me. First off, I had to clean his face because it was looking dirty, and he can't be on camera representing me looking like I don't clean him. Okay, well, he's done with that. And then he didn't know where he wanted to lay, and so I wanted to do an actual Reiki session on him because it's really helpful for pets to, just to kind of, give them that touch, give them that attention, because in your life you have all of these things that you want that are outside of you, or that you enjoy, or you're curious, or you want to learn about, whereas animals really just want you. You're like their moon and their sun. And so he asked me out of breath because I had to keep cutting away, because he does what he wants to do. He is a Virgo, so he is very routine oriented. Like, he has the same schedule every day. Like, he likes to do this at this time and then do that at that time. With him in particular, he is very anxious. He has a high level of anxiety. He also has a lot of social anxiety. He has a really hard time being around other animals. He was a shelter dog. But also, he probably was taken from his mom too early. So, when, a dog is with its mom, it's really cute to see a cute puppy. Like, who doesn't want a little puppy? Like a, regular sized dog that's a little puppy that you fit in your hand. But the thing is, the longer that the, dog is with the parent, the better social skills they will have. And that's because the mom will correct them. So when they're, out of order, or they're doing something that's like, hey, it's irritating, the mom will correct them. And then they'll probably have their siblings around them to correct them too. So it's kind of like this pack mentality and all this stuff. He's too old at this time. He's going to be this year 11, so he's not changing. So at this point, what I do is I just try to celebrate the things he's good at. He's really organized. He has wonderful bladder control, like pretty much the perfect dog in the house, and he just wants, a lot of individual attention. So hey, why not? So I was going to do a session on him. As you can tell, he has already disappeared. So, maybe if you want to bring your pets out, or maybe I'll just do one on you, okay? So just finding peace here. And if you want to, you can use this moment to connect with your pets, whatever your pets are, and just bring them in, because they go through things like we go through things too. Like, he can feel like the weather changing, and it makes him really nervous, so he'll hide able to do that with the food stuff. Oh, I was gonna tell you about the tricks and stuff. He's like knows every trick in the book. He's really good, you know. He'll sit, he'll lay down, he'll roll over, he'll give you his paw. He was learning how to, like, he plays fetch, but he was learning how to, like, directly pick up things that are important, like go get my keys or something like that. But that was kind of an arduous endeavor. And so now I just let him be, you know, let him enjoy life, and let him, you know, be himself. Anyway, back into the session. I think that talking about animals with anxiety is maybe something that it kind of helps put our own emotional and mental health things into perspective. I don't know if you want to see me, you know, just petting them, but it helps us put our own emotional and mental health issues into perspective, because you kind of can see it outside of you and you know that you are 100% in control or responsible for this being in front of you. And so I noticed that with his biggest challenges, which is social anxiety, I noticed that what comes up first is he gets very defensive, you know. Any abrupt sound really makes him like just start barking. And I realize it's because he's scared, he's nervous, and he just really lacks a lot of confidence. And so, you know, when he left the shelter, he was about 10 months old. And so, you know, and he had been returned twice. And he probably, as I said before, left his mom really early. So, you know, there's just a lot of stuff. And then, you know, before he met me, he had 6 years of life. And so besides that, you know, we worked on a lot. But also, I had to learn how to kind of cut back too, because look, baby, I will spend the big bucks on things that I, you know, feel that are very valuable. And with him in particular, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting him a trainer. We're gonna get him to kind of break this social anxiety. And I actually talked to a really, really good trainer who had said to me, you know, sometimes one of the most traumatizing things you can do to a dog is take them to a dog park. And I thought to myself, why? And they said it was because, you know, in those situations, there's a lot of different energy, a lot of different animals coming from different backgrounds. And so sometimes they're actually in there testing each other, like testing each other territorially, even if they're not being, you know, overly aggressive. I'm sure some are just out there playing. But a lot of these issues, emotional and behavioral issues that come, or that dogs face, typically come from experiences within a dog park or a social setting. And so, you know, they don't have to necessarily be friendly to every new animal, but maybe perhaps the ones that are in their life, and they should be okay, like, you know, their siblings or whatever. And so I had to just kind of let that go and just let him be. And he is 11, and honestly, he's probably gonna live to be like 15 to 18. He doesn't have any issues. And also, I have a little saying. He's so full of like anger that, you know, I just feel like he has something to live for. It always happens like that. He has something to live for, which is, you know, what irritants come up during the day. But you can see he's fine, like he's okay right now, you know. Also, one thing that he does that I've never seen any other dog do successfully for quite a long time in my adult life escaped not having to be a pet parent. And then, he came into my life, and I was just like, he came into my life, and then I was named like, mom, dog mommy. And I was like, okay, whatever, like I'll take it. And now we're two peas in a pod. With me being a Gemini and him being a Virgo, I think our Mercury aligns. And I think the really cool thing about him is that he just is really impressive. He's like a really impressive dog. He's the most obedient, besides the fact that he has no impulse control when it comes to social environments. Besides that, in the house, me and him, he's just very obedient. He listens, he does what he needs to do. He has a very high sense of responsibility, which I find very fascinating in a dog. He herds because he's part border collie, so he just herds back and forth, like taking things. Like I can get him to clean things up, like pick that up, pick that up, pick that up, and just so intelligent. So sometimes those really like smart dogs have a lot of anxiety, and so we usually go for a walk daily, and we usually do like a 6-mile walk, so that he can just get it out. But he's also, he has all that hair, and he's black. He's like black, and so sometimes it's a little hot in the DC area, so so always have to be careful there. But yeah, I mean, I've done Reiki sessions on him before, and then sometimes they just turn into petting. I definitely, especially like maybe a couple years ago, I did a lot of cleansings on him. Like I would cleanse him all the time, and he would be like running away from me. I was like, oh, now I know that it's working. Now he doesn't really care, because when I cleanse the house or cleanse the space, I cleanse the inhabitants, and that includes him. And he's like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, you about to get this cleansing today. And so all of that, happens. Now he's asleep. He like, dreams. Like, it's really funny. And so that's nice. I don't, just like what I do for his energetic health, I don't feed him or put any kind of the things that I would typically put for a person, because animals digest things differently. Some animals have their own types of allergies, so you always have to be very cautious of not irritating things or not doing anything weird. There's certain things just from a nutritional standpoint that we can do that would be very toxic, to dogs or to animals. So being able to have that information before you, give your animal something that could really be poisonous is very important. So as of now, I really just work on an energetic level and by touch. So giving him precious,